Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be testing some intake manifolds on a 13.5 to 1 compression, 441 cubic inch LS7. If you're curious or have any questions about what intake manifold, camshaft, or cylinder heads would be best for your combination, check out my TASIT profile, schedule a call with me, and we can talk about your setup. This engine is going into a C6 Z06 that competes at shift sector half-mile race events. The combination is an LSX engine block, our Smeding 441 rotating assembly, 13.5 to 1 compression custom pistons with lateral gas ports. We are running a set of F710 hydraulic roller cylinder heads. And the camshaft is 255, 268 duration at 50, 112 lobe separation angle, installed with an ICL of 109. And for valve lift, we have 671 on the intake and 659 on the exhaust. Because it's going in a C6 Z06, we are using the factory dry sump system and just running it into an aftermarket Moroso tank. The previous intake manifold test we did on my LS3 based engine might have been a little unfair to the BTR. That motor was only a 404. And I think that BTR manifold needs a bigger cubic inch engine to really shine. So this engine should be a good match for it. This will be hopefully the redemption of the BTR Trinity intake manifold. But we will find out in a second. We've already broken in this engine and we've actually already optimized the tune-up. So we're gonna go straight into pools. We're gonna start with this BTR intake and then we'll go to the MSD, kind of have the battle of the low profile guys. And then we'll finish with the big dogs, the high ram and the carbon PTR. Here's the best pool from the Brian Tooley Trinity V2 intake, 729.8 horse, 622.3 torque. We have since then removed the Brian Tooley and installed the carbon PTR. We really wanted to test the MSD manifold as well, but unfortunately with these cylinder heads and their custom application-specific steam port kit, we couldn't install the MSD. And unfortunately, I can't put just a stock steam vent kit on here, so we are a business, we gotta keep the ball rolling, we gotta keep the clock running. So we're gonna go straight to the carbon and see how much power it makes. All right. Let's now remove the lid and I don't want to do the mids. Let's just go straight to the shorts. Here's a dyno curve from the PTR carbon intake with the tall runners. 731 horse, 666 foot-pounds of torque. Let me overlay it with the BTR. And here you can see that longer runner just shooting up the airspeed and increasing that torque. They actually made very close to within the same horsepower, but that longer runner is making all that power and torque further down on the RPM range, which is always a good thing. Now we're going to pull the lid off and swap in the short runners. Okay, just got finished running the engine with the short runners in the carbon manifold. 734 horse and 665 torque. Let me overlay it with the tall runners. And here you can see how we sacrifice just a little bit of torque down low for a little bit of horsepower up top. Very, very subtle, small changes on an engine this big and this taxing. But this is a good illustration of how a short runner and a long runner can impact each other. Now we're going to pull the carbon off and put the Mac Daddy of them all on, the Holley High Ram. Here's the final curve from the high ram. It made 731 horsepower and 649 torque. What's nice about the high ram intake is even as it peaks, it really just flattens out and doesn't just fall on its face and drop off really hard. Let me overlay the high ram with the short runner carbon version. And here you can see the carbon actually did make a good bit more torque and horsepower from 4,700 to 5,700. But at the very, very top, the carbon starts to go turbulent and drops off. So I think for a race application, leave the high ram on it. You could then rev this engine out a little bit further, just let it go flat, shift back into the power curve. That'd probably be the best option for this combination. So last time, let's put all of them up, the PTR, the high ram, and the BTR. And here you can see the BTR manifold is this red curve underneath it. And then the two longer runner manifolds with their longer runners are making so much more torque throughout the curve, and they stay above the whole way through. The BTR it basically matches them on peak horsepower on this engine, but tapers off a little quicker than the high ram does. So if you have a stock Could and you don't want to cut your car up, BTR is still a great option. But keep in mind, you are going to be down about 50 foot-pounds of torque through the meat of the curve compared to the longer runner, taller, high ram variant manifolds. Thank you so much for watching this video. We are not done with this engine yet. The next video we're coming out with, we're going to be testing a lot of VP fuels. You might see some pails sitting over there. And we're going to test all of the different aftermarket E85 fuels on this combo and see how they compare to regular pump E85 that you can get at a Shell station. So about the most horsepower we got out of this engine combination was about the mid 730s on pump E85. Not quite as much power as I thought that those cylinder heads and that this combo should be making given the parts that are in it. And I think I went just a little bit too small on the camshaft. I was a little too conservative. I didn't want to over cam it and create just an undrivable monster. But after talking some more with the owner, he has zero concerns with drivability. So this motor is actually going to go back onto the dyno with a new, much larger camshaft that we can now spec accurately because we have great data from what the motor did the first time around with the first iteration camshaft. So this is not the end of this engine. It will be back on the channel, back on the dyno for round 2. Thank you for watching. See you next time.